Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum friends. Welcome back to another latest transfer episode with Football Gupshup. Sorry guys, couldn't be with you earlier for last previous days. Had been really down in terms of health, not feeling well. Had severe pneumonia as I've announced in that community message, and trying to get better day by day. Just got hold of the virus, and would want to say that everybody should stay safe and. It really gets to you, and it's really one of those things that you really need to get over it, and slowly day by day it's more of a process that you do tend to get better, but that's my advice, that you should be really careful, wear the mask and everything, and take all those kind of measures which makes you safe, and let's see how it goes going forward. Kind of doing better, still taking the meds, and still getting better, but let's see how it goes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to be starting with some of the news that we have got the updates, and I want to start straight away with Chelsea, because there's lots of news coming around with Chelsea, and we're going to be doing straight away with Timo Werner. We do know that Timo Werner has really not been playing that good for Chelsea. He moved from RB Leipzig in a very big transfer move, and he hasn't done well at Stamford Bridge. His time seems to be of lots of criticism regarding his finishing and regarding most of his game style, and he tends to not to be as proficient as the other strikers in the Premier League are, and it seems that his time might be over at Chelsea, and he will be looking for a transfer move. Now, which club do we think will be taking him? Where will he be going and play his game? We will still see. Now, we do know that Timo Werner is attracting a lot of interest from his old previous club, RB Leipzig. They are interested in him, but the problem lies in his salary. He is taking a really high wage at Stamford Bridge, and RB Leipzig don't think so will be able to apparently afford that kind of amount of salary that he's getting paid by Chelsea. So he might have to make a compromise on that, and he will have to accept a lower salary demand in order to move back to his old club. Now, that is the case regarding Timo Werner, but it's not only RB Leipzig. It's has to do with other clubs as well, like Juventus, and as well as we do know that there are other clubs such as Newcastle United who are looking into this, and they see him as one of those transfer moves which could take Newcastle United a little bit up towards that Achillean. But let's see, what will Juventus and Newcastle do? Will they be willing to go and speak to him and ask him that if he would be willing to join them? And maybe Timo Werner would say that staying in Premier League wouldn't work for him. He wouldn't want to go and play back in Bundesliga, and that is why RB Leipzig might be an attractive option for him. So we will see what happens to that in that regard. Other than that, we do know that there's another catch with Chelsea. They need a defender, and we do know that they like Guardiola, and for that reason I think they would be willing to do that kind of deal with RB Leipzig. They would ask for a replacement. What they could do is they could go for a swap deal, and they could say that, we want your player, you can have Timo Werner, and they could work out with some sort of compromise. Remember, Thomas Tuchel is trying to rebuild his defense, and in order to do that he will have to offer Timo Werner to RB Leipzig, and then he can get Guardiola on a lesser money, and he can still go and again go back into the market and still shop for another defender such as Kimpembe from PSG. But let's see what happens. But we do know that there's another player who has come of an interest to Chelsea, which is Pavard of Bayern Munich. We do know that Bayern Munich have not been, you could say, not happy with Pavard in terms of his consistency. He hasn't been able to prove that good. We do know that Thomas Tuchel likes the player. He thinks that he could put him in the first starting 11. Azpilicueta, Alonso will be leaving soon. It's just a matter of time, because Xavi really wants both of them. Although there is a beef between Chelsea and Barcelona right now, but I still think that Chelsea would want to get off those two players from their wage books, and their age is also getting a little bit older, and there's no resale value. So in that regard, if they are able to get them off the books and go for a younger version such as Pavard, it would work for the likes of Chelsea. So Chelsea are really right now focusing on their defense. They've already got Koulibaly, and right now they think that the best thing to do is to get more recruitment in terms of defense. We do know that they're also looking at Fofana of Leicester City, and Fofana is something of value which you could say is going to be a little bit costlier because he's a little bit younger, 20, 21 years of age, and 40 million plus is going to be a little bit more for Chelsea because they would want to pay at least 30 plus million with some add-ons, but we do not know that if Leicester City would be willing to accept that. That depends on what do Brendan Rodgers think of Wesley Fofana. So lots of names, lots of central defenders linked with Chelsea, and I think still this transfer market still has a long time to go. Still there is a 1 month remaining, so let's see what do these clubs do. Now what we're going to do is we're going to be speaking about Everton, and I wanted to discuss about Everton because Everton have been really making some of really good moves. We do know that they sold Richarlison, and they sold Richarlison to Tottenham, and we do know that they are looking for some of their own additions. And this recent news which has come up is regarding Guai, who used to play for Everton, and apparently he moved to PSG. Now he is looking for a move out. PSG are trying to offload him. For that reason, Everton have started speaking to PSG regarding acquiring him. I think it's going to be a loan move, and maybe a little bit, you could say there'll be some money including in terms of a buyout clause or something. It will be a lower clause, but that's what Everton are trying to work out with. Remember, Everton, they wanted lots of names in this transfer market, such as Zinchenko, but apparently Zinchenko opted to move to Arsenal. And for that reason they went for another kind of player which I really like, is Ruben Vinagre. I think he's really one of very good left backs, and he can play a really good I think he's going to be really quality addition for Everton. And they've got Dwight McNeil as well as James Tarkowski. So we do know that Everton are also looking to add Cornet as well, but let's see what do Frank Lampard thinks of it. He is also looking for some of the players in his old clubs such as Chelsea. He is looking at Billy Gilmore, but we do not know what will happen with Billy Gilmore in terms of his future. So Everton are looking quite active in the transfer market. So if they do add these 2 or 3 more names, then you could say that Everton will be progressing themselves into a really good position, which I think they will try to improve from the last league position. Remember, they were battling relegation, and with these additions at least they could come towards to the top, maybe to the position of 12th position or 13th position, and then they can try to get better as the season goes by. So let's see how that one goes, but still 2 or 3 names still to be added, and Frank Lampard has said that it's still a long time to go in transfer window, and you never know, there's always a proposition hanging in there, and you always add those kind of players. So let's see what happens on that front. Now what we'll be doing is we'll be jumping straight away to Newcastle United. We do know that Newcastle United, they have been bought by Saudi Arabia, and they've got lots of money, and they have been facing troubles in terms of acquiring players. It's due to the fact that apparently the clubs think that due to this unfair advantage of Newcastle United having lots of money puts them in a pretty bad position. So that's why if Newcastle United do come in asking for your player, let's say for example your West Ham United or your Leicester City or your Wolves or anyone, you have a player and you think that Newcastle United is interested in your player, then what you're going to do is you're going to a little bit raise that price value, and you're going to go a little bit premium. You mean to say, like, if for example you have got the likes of Harvey Barnes, and Harvey Barnes' cost is about 40 million pounds, but because it's Newcastle United, you're going to simply charge them 55 million plus, and that puts Newcastle United in a very unfair advantage. They think that it's really unnecessary. That's what they tried to do. They went out to shop for players, and all of the clubs, they're asking for silly money, and that is why Eddie Howe has been frustrated in terms of acquiring the players. Remember, Newcastle United don't want to go onto the same route as Everton did. They want to be careful in terms of FFP. They don't want to overspend. They want to be careful in choosing the correct profile of the player. And remember, Eddie Howe thinks that if they go steadily and slowly, they can slowly build up, and they can build the side into a top 6, maybe a Europa League place, or maybe sometime in the future a top 4 club. But it depends on what kind of players do they get in terms of profile. Now Leicester City, they do know that they need to raise some cash in order to make their own transfer moves. This time around, it's quite surprising that we haven't seen any action happening from Leicester City. So far what we've heard is that James Maddison is of an interest from Newcastle United. They made a bid about 35-40 million pounds, which was being rejected. Leicester City are asking for a little bit more, and it seems that Newcastle United won't be willing to pay that much, because remember, they could go out and get a much better quality than Maddison, such as Paqueta from Lyon, and for that reason they think that James Maddison hasn't been in a very good form. And Brendan Rodgers has said that if you have seen James Maddison in pre-season, he has been in his best shape, which is quite astonishing. He hasn't been in a good form. He hasn't been selected in the national team squad. So don't know where Brendan Rodgers is coming from. Maybe because they are desperate to raise some cash. That is why they're trying to get as much as they can from James Maddison. But let's see how much Eddie Howe kind of thinks about James Maddison. Would he be willing to go more than 40 million pounds plus? We just have to see. And as I've told you guys, it's a long window. Sometimes the club, they get desperate. They tend to think that there's a value in a player, maybe we should go for him. Maybe sometime it isn't the case. There is a better option somewhere else, and might be the case with James Maddison. As in regards to Harvey Barnes, there has been talks that Newcastle United would be willing to take Harvey Barnes because they want to sell Saint Maximin. Saint Maximin is being valued more than 50 million pounds. Someone said that maybe 70 million euros would be enough to sell Saint Maximin, and that is where Newcastle United would be willing to go and reinvest that money by getting two wingers such as Harvey Barnes and Jack Harrison from Leeds United. Now, if that is the case, that's going to be a really interesting one, because if you sell Saint Maximin and if you get two good wingers such as Harvey Barnes as well as Jack Harrison, and I think that's going to be a good value, because you're getting two wingers in price of one. Although Saint Maximin is pretty talented, he hasn't got his finishing with him, but do understand the reason why would Newcastle United and Eddie Howe would be willing to do that. Remember that if you have more quality wingers, then your squad is full, because you always get those injuries, suspensions, and for that reason you need to have good amount of numbers of players in your squad. And would understand this strategy by Eddie Howe, that he wants to sell Saint Maximin and get Harvey Barnes as well as Jack Harrison. So let's see how Newcastle United do on that front. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about other clubs. We're going to be speaking about Arsenal. Now, we do know that Arsenal have done pretty good job in the transfer market, but we do know that Arsenal are also looking at some other deals. We do know that they're interested in Tielemans. They're also looking at other transfer moves as well, but Mikel Arteta has said that they will wait and see. Even if something happens on the last day, Arsenal fans should be ready for it, because if you feel so that there is a room for improvement for Arsenal, then they would be willing to do that, and they will be willing to make that decision. And let's see what happens on that front, if Arsenal would be willing to add more of those players. Now, Arsenal say that they haven't done their business. As in regards to, we will be speaking about Manchester City. Now, Manchester City are still in talks with Brighton regarding Cucurella. They want Cucurella at all costs. Now, the problem lies with Brighton's valuation. They said 50 million pounds is what they need, but Manchester City think it's a little bit too much. Manchester City are looking towards 30 million, maybe 40 million pounds, but Brighton have said straightforward that they aren't looking for anything less than 50 million. So let's see what will Manchester City do. Will they give in to Brighton demands, or will they kind of deal with some sort of compromise, maybe 40-45 million pounds in add-ons? I think Brighton are quite secure in terms of financial, because remember they sold Bissouma to Tottenham, so they aren't worried as they should be, because they think they have got money in the bank, and if they want to sell one of their assets, they're not going to sell it for less. So that is where Manchester City will have to sum up a little bit more money. Now, in regards to another move, we're going to be speaking about Leeds United. They are interested in Che Adams from Southampton. They think that Che Adams is one of the additions that they could make in the transfer market, because due to the fact that they're looking for a striker. Remember, Bamford, he was injured, and they don't want to have this case going into the new season. They want to have a quality striker. Remember, they've got Rodrigo as well, but they're looking for Che Adams, and Che Adams is also looking for a move, because apparently Southampton are making their own signings, and Che Adams knows that he won't be getting that much of play time. So let's see if he gets his move to Leeds United. Now, talking about another club, we'll be speaking about Real Madrid. They are interested in Fabian Ruiz, who plays for Napoli. Fabian Ruiz has only 1 year remaining on his contract, and Napoli have said that they would want to renew his contract, but it seems that the player is not looking forward for that contract addition because he thinks that he needs to get that big move, and he knows Ancelotti, so that is the reason why he would be willing to move to Real Madrid. Real Madrid are looking at him as a free signing maybe next summer, but if there could be some sort of compromise on a fee, maybe they will sign Fabian Ruiz this summer. So let's see what happens on that front. Now, talking about another club, we'll be speaking about Manchester United. We do know that Manchester United are exploring Benjamin Sesko deal. We do know that Cristiano Ronaldo agenda and his thing with that he wants to stay or he wants to leave is still ongoing. We do not know what will happen in regards to his future, but we do know that Manchester United are working behind the scenes to see that if they could be a replacement in terms of a striker, not in terms of replacement for Cristiano Ronaldo, replacement for a striker. So for that reason, they are looking at Sesko. They think that he's a good player, he is a quality player, but Salzburg are looking to sell him in 2023, not before the World Cup, and that might be tricky for Manchester United. They will have to offer a little bit more money. So in case they are able to do so, once they are offering what Salzburg require, then we might see Sesko moving to Manchester United. Maybe there will be some sort of a deal where they will be paying in installments, like maybe if there's a fee agreed like 30 to 40 million pounds, and we might see Manchester United paying up like upfront 10 to 15 million and the rest of the fee later in add-ons. So that might be the case, and I think that United are looking still at some of the enforcements. It was reported that they're looking at midfielder, 2 forwards, and a right back and a goalkeeper. Let's see how it goes on that front. That's 5 players. It's going to be looking pretty hard for Manchester United in order to get those players, but we'll wait and see what happens on that front. Now we're going to be also speaking about another player, which is Charles de Cletre. He is flying to Milan. He will be joining AC Milan. He was very close to Leeds United, but apparently never wanted to go for Leeds United. He always wanted to go. Hello Arthur, hello, how are you? Hopefully you're fine. And he always wanted to go and play for AC Milan, so we might see him playing for AC Milan, and that might be the case that the contracts and the medicals will be done by today, and he will be the new AC Milan player. The fee which has been reported is 36 million euros plus some add-ons, and that means that AC Milan will be getting a good quality player in De Cletre. Remember, they're also interested in Renato Sanchez, so let's see what happens on that front. So far nothing has come up of yet. As regards to another club we'll be speaking about is Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich are still in talks with RB Leipzig regarding Konrad Lehmer. They need Lehmer. They have spoken to the player representatives. They are speaking to Leipzig. Now the fee agreement is the key over here. Now the fee which has been reported is 20 million euros. Let's see what Bayern Munich do in that regards. Will there will be any players moving to the opposite side? We'll have to see. Is there going to be any swap deal or something? Still, there's a lot of time in this transfer market, and we might see Lehmer playing for the Bayern Munich. And in another news is regarding Roma. Roma are really working wonders behind the scenes in terms of acquiring new players. Now this caught me very surprisingly. It has to do with one of the ex-Liverpool players, is Wijnaldum, who's currently playing for PSG. He is apparently a target for Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho has highlighted him as one of the key additions that he wants to get for new season. So that will be a pretty good, important player which Roma are able to get. Imagine getting Wijnaldum on loan, and it's going to be really one of the quality moves that Roma will make in the transfer market. They've already got Dybala, and if they add Wijnaldum, it's going to be really quality. I think Roma are trying their best to get into the top 4. So let's see what happens on that front. As regards to, we do know the case that Tammy Abraham has been again in talks in regards to moving back to Premier League, but he has said that his future is in Roma. He wants to play in the World Cup, and that is where he thinks he is still going to play in Roma. He's going to stay in Serie A. He's going to play for Jose Mourinho. He's not looking way back to Chelsea or anywhere in the Premier League. He wants to stay in Serie A, and that's what he has said. So that means Roma fans are going to be quite happy having the likes of Dybala, Tammy Abraham, Zaniolo, and as well as Wijnaldum. I think Roma are really building a really good side over here, and they're going to truly challenge for the top 4. Now, as for Bayern Munich, they've said that they're not looking to add any striker right now in this current transfer market. They've got already the additions, maybe next summer, and let's see what happens on that front. But this is what has been reported by Oliver Kahn, and this is the update we have so far, guys. So hopefully I will be tuning in maybe later in the evening if there are any more updates. We do know that the new season will be starting quite soon, and I do know that next weekend is going to be quite huge. We do know that the new season starts anyway, and as for the first match, which is going to be taking place next week, it's going to be, I think, on Friday, Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. I'll be doing that watch along, Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. We'll be back into the Premier League and can't wait for that as well. Then on Saturday, we have so many games: Fulham, Liverpool, Leeds United, Wolves, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, Everton, Chelsea, Tottenham, Southampton. Then on Sunday, the big one we're going to have is West Ham, Manchester City, Manchester United, Brighton, Leicester City, Brentford. I can't wait for this new season to start, and hopefully you guys will be tuning in, and we'll be entering into this new season. Hopefully you guys will be tuning in for those watch along. So I want to thank you very much for you guys for giving me some time, and please stay safe from this COVID, from this virus, because it's really deadly. I know being suffering from one, and it really takes a toll on you. So please stay safe, stay healthy, and keep watching Football Gupshup. Please subscribe to the channel, press that like button as well, and hopefully I'll see you soon, maybe this evening transfer session, and if not, then maybe tomorrow, but I'll try my best to come in for today's evening session. So I want to thank you very much for tuning in, and hope to see you soon. Thank you very much, Arthur. Thank you very much, everyone, and hope to see you soon. Have a nice one. Bye bye.